already had Vulture speed, so that's kind of surprising. I'm not sure why he's researching two things now, especially considering, yeah, those were the, I believe, if as long as that he did have speed research, which I believe he did, those are the only two upgrades left for him, really. And it looks like Flash has 3 factories, and I believe I saw Firebat Hero throwing up 2 more factories, so that's going to put him to 5. Yeah, Firebat Hero is going to go up to 5 factories, 2 of them with siege shops, 2 of them for siege tanks, and 3 of them are just going to produce vultures. Firebat Hero, most of the time early on I see Firebat Hero producing vultures, not Goliaths. He doesn't produce Goliaths early on. That definitely is a Flash-esque move, which we saw Flash do just now. And it looks like both these players are just going to settle up, gear down for kind of a longer game. Flash went to his 3rd base at the 6 o'clock position, and I don't know if he tried to build a command center there, but if he did try to build a command center, he would have seen the mine go up. So he's actually going to produce his command center at the natural expansion of the bottom right-hand base. I believe that is the natural. And, no, actually, I'm sorry, that is not the natural expansion. That would actually be his next base. That would be his 4th base. However, that has a gas expansion, so that was really, if he wants a gas first, that's definitely where he would go next. Sorry, I kind of missed I misread the map a little bit there. But, so he's going to get his 3rd base up and running, but I think Firebat Hero might know this is coming. He has some vultures wandering around the map, checking out all of the expansions, and I think that command center is going to get scouted out, and that SCV is not going to be able to finish that command center, so Flash is going to have to dedicate some forces to defending it. It looks like elsewhere, both players are building tank lives in the middle of the map, and just trying to establish position at this point. Establish containment areas, and are just trying to gain some semblance of map control. And you see that a lot in TVTs, where you just end up with the map almost cut in half, and the 2 players take the expansions, as many expansions as they can on either side of the map, and you just see huge macro wars, tank lines. You see lots of drops going on each other. It's really quite entertaining once it gets going. Of course, there are some of these middling areas where as they're setting up, it's not exactly the most exciting. I'll be honest, it's not the most exciting stuff to see. But it looks like their Flash got a little bit of an advantage with the tank fight, and then Vulture's coming in to pick off one of the tanks as well for Firebat Hero. So, yeah, pretty even so far. Nothing too significant is going on right now. I wouldn't say either player really has much of an advantage. Both players throwing up expansions. Important to note is that Flash's expansion has a gas, whereas I believe that Firebat Heroes does not. So Firebat Hero is going to be on 3 minerals 2 gas, whereas Flash is going to be on 3 minerals 3 gas. So in a TVT, gas is so important because it really dictates your tank count and also somewhat your dropship count as well. And they trading there tank for tank, but I believe that was kind of sloppy play by Firebat Hero, just wandering in a tank unsieged. And now Firebat Hero trying to take down another tank of Flash and actually having some success doing that. So he goes up a tank as well, but Flash does have that 3rd base up and running. He's also produced a raid, so that's going to give him some sort of a site advantage as well, and that's also going to put the onus on Firebat Hero to either start producing some turrets or produce counter raids, which it looks like he's going to do. He's going to have a starport, actually, that could just be for dropships, so we'll see whether he decides to go counter raids or to produce Goliath. So that's kind of a decision that Firebat Hero has to make. We'll see what he decides to go with here. I'm actually kind of interested to see. And Flash losing control here in the middle of the map. It looks like his tank count is significantly lower than Firebat Heroes, and I hope he has another round of tanks coming up soon to really hold this back. Looks like he's only got about 4 or so tanks left in the middle, whereas Firebat Heroes maybe 7 or 8. Of course, since you have to defend across a huge line, it's not exactly the same. And that barracks might actually go down if Flash is able to. Flash might be able to take it down, and it's so close. The Flash does take down that barracks, so Firebat Heroes locked in on the factories he has until barracks comes up. I think he was on 5 factories, and if he hurriedly built 1 or 2 more, he'll be fine. Yeah, he did build 2 more before that went down. So he's going to be up to 7 factories, and that should be fine for him for quite some time. It also looks like he's trying to take the expansion at the 9 o'clock position, try and get up to a 4th base, and also that would be his 3rd gas. And it looks like Flash is constantly scanning that top right base, because he probably expects that's where Flash will go for his next base. I don't know if he even suspects the 9 o'clock position, and that could actually end up being a pretty big deal here if Firebat Hero is able to keep that going for a while. And Starport producing race right here, no control tower yet added, so neither player produced any dropships so far as I can tell, unless Flash has produced one. And he's producing a control tower now, so we will see a transition into dropship play from Flash. And if both players are equal economically and equal militarily, although I will say that they're not equal militarily right now, it looks like Flash is a little bit ahead, but if both players do end up becoming equal militarily, if Flash can even this out a little bit, having those dropships really adds a lot to his mobility and overall map control. It does look, however, like Flash has rebuilt a lot of the siege tanks that he lost. I think he was losing just a few more siege tanks here and there to Firebat Hero's mini pushes, and so he did fall behind a little bit, but it looks like he's been able to replace most of them. And we've got the map kind of split in half. However, Firebat Hero has established his map control on the, like, in the middle of the map. If it's a 50-50, it's maybe like 55-45 towards Firebat Hero right now. But that actually is kind of significant. And Flash actually coming up with a good idea. This is actually how Frozine actually attacked into Iris's base from where we're seeing right now, but now we're seeing Flash going from inside of his base to outside of his base, so also coming up with a different way to defend his own units and defend his base and attack outside. So that's kind of a intelligent, smart, creative way to use his base to his own advantage, although many people would consider it to be a disadvantage. Flash producing a lot of turrets there at the northern end of his base, going to deter any sort of dropships. A fleet of dropships coming in is going to lose a lot of them to 5 or 6 turrets that were produced. And Flash may lose this. No, Flash is not going to lose that barracks. The rates, not enough rates, not enough damage there. Firebat here throwing up a lot of turrets as well at the 9 o'clock position, and also trying to take a 5th base. So Firebat here is trying to produce a lot, just out macro Flash here. And Firebat here is really in a pretty solid position to do this as long as he can stop the dropship play. And now we're seeing Firebat trying to get into Flash's base using the big open area outside of his base, but it doesn't look like he's able to do too much damage there. Flash is continuously reinforcing that area with more tanks, so I don't think Firebat here is going to be able to do too much, unless he really dedicates to it, or maybe goes for a drop or something along those lines. And Flash looks like he's trying to establish some more of the map. He needs to try and take the ramp on the right side where he's at. He needs to try and establish some control over there in order to get some more expansions, because after he takes a 6 o'clock expansion, there really is not anywhere else for him to go until he takes that out. Otherwise, he's going to have to use some, except maybe through drop ships, but that's really dangerous and certainly not what he wants to do. And it actually looks like he's going to be lifting a command center over to the main of the bottom right. Seeing some more actions between these siege tanks, and it looks like Flash came out ahead this time, and I think Flash might have actually seen that command center actually that's moving towards the main of the bottom left. And some raids coming in for Firebat here as well, and if Flash doesn't respond quickly, he's going to lose a couple of these tanks, and he really needs to hold on to this position, I feel. Otherwise, that command center that's going to the bottom left main, he's really going to lose control. But a dropship coming in with a bunch of raids, so that's awesome. Oh, I've got a phone call. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that, but I'm back now, and yeah, it seems like that keeps happening here. Like, important points that keep getting phone calls happened last week as well when I was trying to do those games. So yeah, this base at the bottom right has been scouted out by vultures, and it looks like Firebat here has actually devoted a pretty significant force down into that area at the natural expansion of that area. And actually, Firebat here might have taken the 2 bases at the top right as well, so that would put him up to 6 bases if he can get those up and running, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Flash has loaded up 3 dropships, however, and is moving into that area on the right side of the map, going to try and establish some control here at the on the 2 ridges, and he could actually not pincer, but he could actually lock Firebat Hero's troops into the low ground as he takes the high ground on either side of these ramps, and it looks like that's exactly what he's done. He's put a few siege tanks on both sides. So Firebat Hero is going to need some drops. Okay, he does have dropships of his own, so he's going to have to go for some more counter drops here. Going to have to try and break some of this containment. Otherwise, that force there has kind of been neutralized, kind of been neutered. Can't really move out at all. But he only has 2 dropships to Flash's 4, so as long as Flash keeps that dropship in position and in a mobile position, he can really do a lot of damage. And it looks like Flash is actually using inside of his own base. He's tanking the dropship at the 9 o'clock position. So Flash playing pretty brilliant here. I gotta say, it's gotta be that's a very good play by him. Making those turrets kind of wasteful. I don't know if Firebat Hero didn't know the placement of those or what, but he didn't need to build them so far south. I think later Terran players on this map in TVTs will take note of this, and if they do try and take that base, I think they'll note where to place turrets there to be more effective. Just one of those little things I think that is going to come into play in later games. I think you'll notice that as we see this going on and on. It looks like Firebat here is actually able to clear out most of the bottom right. Either that or the tanks were moved by Flash, and he's actually going to easily be able to get up this ramp. But actually, no, he's not. Flash is responding very, very quickly with dropships of his own, and is going to be able to hold this back. And with a lot of Goliaths as well, this dropship's worth